Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 9th season for the Walking Dead television series. In this one, we're going to do a recap on the preview special that aired tonight for the Walking Dead Season 9, and giving our thoughts on Negan being a special playable character in Tekken 7. Oh, that's awesome. Freaking awesome. Alright, so I watched the preview special tonight. Most of it, I mean, it was like, it was okay, I guess. So they do, each year, they do kind of a preview special where they have a few guests from the show to come in and talk about the upcoming season. This year they had... Well, we had Yvette Nicole Brown as the host, and I think she did a fine job to fill in for Chris Hardwick, who had to take some time after the allegations and all the other stuff you guys know that happened this summer. So that's cleared now, and it sounds like he'll be back next week, according to her at the end of the previous special episode. So that's fine, and I enjoyed to see her here in this episode. It's a little bit different than usual, but it's cool, and it'll be nice to have him back as well, too, as per regular. I think she's going to be on next week's as well, too, for Fear. So there's that. So we had that. And, the guests in this one were Angela Kang, which is really good because, you want to have her there because she's show running this season. So this is her season for season 9, right? So that was awesome to have her there. And then Jesus Tom Payne, right? Actor who plays Jesus in the series. And then we had Kari Payton, who, of course, plays Ezekiel on the couch. So, it was okay in terms of who they had. It's not like they had Andrew Lincoln or anything like that. Or, or maybe, well, they've had Norman Reedus before for specials like this. But, yeah, they didn't have, Andrew Lincoln or Lauren Cohen, which you probably would have wanted to see because, they're the ones who are going to be leaving this season and everything, and it would have kind of made it even better. But, it was cool to see the three of them there. And, most of it, they just, kind of talk a little bit about the season. I want to say they didn't give away too much in terms of details for the upcoming season. Not too much. We did see Lennie James. He kind of popped in for a promo, I want to say, for Fear the Walking Dead, which is cool. And, I'm happy that they're doing that. It's really smart because then you can get people to, check out Fear that are fans of the original series because you're not going to be seeing, and that's one thing they did confirm for sure, is that you're not going to be seeing Morgan in Season 9 because, of course, he's leading Fear now. So that's that. And we know that even though there was a sneak peek that featured him and Alicia discussing going back east, he certainly is not going to get there in time for Season 9, that's for sure. So we have that. They go into horseback riding a little bit, and, just like, Q&A kind of stuff, the usual kind of stuff. We've got baby Hershel's name confirmed, so cool for the television series. Same name for the baby. It's going to be Hershel, and it's going to be weird, man. Like, what's going to happen with the baby if Maggie's going to leave? Is she going to take the baby with her, or what are they going to do with that? That's just a really good question. I would tend to think that because it's her baby and everything, if she's going to leave, and Glenn obviously isn't alive anymore, he's not there to take care of, I would think she would take the baby with her, but I just don't know because it's not really safe. So is there anybody there she can trust well enough? Would it be Jesus that would take care of her, or or him? I don't know. It's a really, really tough call as far as that goes, and how this whole thing's going to work out with Maggie leaving the series in the first half here, due to Lauren Cohen, having other projects to work on, stuff like that. Then we have the sneak peek. So that's the main thing, kind of the sneak peek for. And there was some for Fear, like some different trailers for Fear and stuff like that. A lot of the same stuff we've kind of seen for Fear already. But for the Walking Dead, going to season 9 here, we get a Daryl and Carol sneak peek, which we've kind of seen pictures of, or at least we've seen in the trailer where they're kind of sitting on that ledge there at nighttime, and they're mostly just talking, and it looks like neither of them can sleep. And it's kind of confirmation that Carol seems to be in a relationship with Ezekiel, or at least they're sharing a bed. So, I would take that as confirmation that they're together. And, I guess Daryl's happy for her. And you get the sense from the scene, at least I did when I watched it, that Daryl, may have some feelings towards Carol, but he can't really share them with her. And he's happy to see her happy. And she kind of reflects on Ed and how things were with that before. So, it's a fine scene. It's not much to feature a whole preview special around. It's literally like a little clip. And I know they don't want to give away too much, but it's like just the smallest little clip there that just confirms a couple things about Daryl's relationships, and that's that's pretty much it, you know. So for those of you who want to see Daryl and Carol together, it looks like we're not going to see that right now. But it looks like Daryl maybe, well, they're kind of leaving the door open there possibly in the future. And who knows, if Ezekiel ends up getting killed or something, then maybe later on you could still see a Daryl and Carol type of love interest type situation. And we'll have to see how that goes. But it looks like Daryl's genuinely happy for Carol that she's found somebody who is. He might have a little hint of jealousy in there too, because he kind of pokes fun at Ezekiel because he's overly flamboyant and kind of really into the whole king gimmick and everything. So so that's kind of what I took from the conversation there, is that maybe in the future you could see Daryl and Carol together. Right now Carol's with Ezekiel and Daryl's happy for her. Good. So there's going to be a Fear the Walking Dead kind of replay of the mid-season finale before the mid-season premiere next weekend, and it might feature some extended scenes. So we'll have to see what that looks like and whether or not they're any good, or whether or not it matters. No one's gone till it's gone. So for anybody who still has theories about possibly Madison somehow surviving that, you might want to check it out. You might want to watch it, but. I tend to think that Madison's gone for good. They kind of confirmed it on Talking Dead anyway, and what's done is done, and they got to move forward, as you've heard some of them say in some of the trailers that are coming up for this half season. Then we do get a few, there's a couple other things as well here too. Angela Kang kind of answered a question about Rick a little bit, or she got into talking about it here. I don't exactly remember what the setup was, but Duke2010 Jim Bob here sent through a question. Awesome name, right? He said, Trev, do you think they'll give Rick Andrea's comic book death where everyone gets to say goodbye? And she didn't confirm that that's what we're going to see here, but she said that for Michonne, they might do something like kind of in the comic book series where you have Andrea who dies and then Rick has to kind of deal or cope with her death. In this one here, she kind of... It's hard for me to kind of paraphrase here or quote. You kind of have to watch what she said and, read into it yourself. But what it sounded to me like is that we might see something like a mirror of that, where Michonne has to deal with maybe the death of Rick, and they do something similar to what we saw in the comics, where Rick would go out, because after Andrea was alive in the comics for a very long time, she lived through Alexandria, past All Out War, and she basically, Michonne has filled her role in the television series, right? So in the comic book series, when she eventually does get killed off and Rick is still alive there, he kind of goes and he sleeps on her grave and stuff like that. He can't sleep at night, so he goes and he sleeps, she's buried, but he sleeps on her grave and things like that they did in the comics. So for any of you guys who like the idea or the theory that Rick might get a death similar to Andrea's, where maybe he's riding a horse or something happens and there's a herd around him or something, and somehow he gets bitten by a zombie, and then he goes back afterwards and lets Michonne know and lets the others know, and they all gather around him, and he dies, and maybe Michonne has to put him down. So we might see something like the comic book series version mirrored in the television series this season in season 9, where Rick does get Andrea's death. So if you like that theory, then what she said here fits in with that theory, and maybe kind of suggested that it will be a Andrea type situation for Rick, with Michonne in the television series being our comic Rick equivalent, or getting those parts from the comics from Rick for her to do in opposite. So heads up for that. If you like that theory, then she kind of maybe gave a little bit more to that maybe that's what we will see, adding a point to the side that thinks that Rick will just be killed. So back and forth, right? World Patriots Grandma, I love the name, says, Trev, Negan is going to be a special guest character on Tekken 7, so that's awesome. I don't play Tekken anymore. I used to play Tekken when I was younger, like when I was in my teenage years and stuff. It was a pretty big game, and I'm happy to hear that it's still going, which is fun because many, many years later now. I remember Tekken Tag Tournament, I think for PlayStation 2, was like all the Raz when it came out, like back then. Like everybody was like... excited and calling it like the best game ever and stuff like this, because the graphics were like so advanced at that time, right? So they're up to Tekken 7 now. It sounds like Negan's going to be a special guest character, so that's fun. I may have to get the game just so I can play as Negan, but it would be kind of like tricky, because I'd always have to play as Negan, because I don't really care about any of the other fighters or characters in Tekken. So, but that's kind of funny, and that'd be cool, and maybe they'll do a DLC later for Rick and Michonne or something. That'd be cool. Then I definitely have to buy it, right? Yeah, man, for sure. But let me know what you guys think about that. Negan going to be in Tekken, so that's cool. Yeah, Josh Hurley said in response to my video, earlier today or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this, it feels like the end, Trev, because it is, my friend. So yeah, it's definitely, I think, the end for that original story with Rick, and we'll have to see past that how things go here. Morris Mckenzie says, I remember that summer with Negan, man. Internet was bugging all summer, and this season feels like it's done. All the OG characters are gone. There's no story that can replace them. It's tricky, man, for sure. You lose all those characters from the first season. And it's not that we're just losing Rick this season, too. But, Meg is going to be leaving. Do we think she'll ever come back? Dr. Death here says if the movie Mile 22 does well, Lauren Cohen most likely won't be back. I'll do a prediction right now. I don't think she's coming back. You know what I mean? I think she's taking her leave right now. And I highly doubt, or I'd say this right now, and I don't have any inside info. I'm the same as you guys with this one. But I just, as a prediction, I'd say I would be pretty surprised if she comes back, to the series. I think she's probably done with it because, her career is going to demand, with the exposure they've gotten from The Walking Dead, I mean, she's going to be able to get a lot of roles and probably make a lot of money. And The Walking Dead is difficult to do. It's not it's not as easy as a comedy or something like that where they can just go be happy and just, goof around and be in air-conditioned weather and all that stuff. It's, zombies, gore, blood, all that, tears and emotion and all that stuff. And I don't think any of us, are against her moving on, from the series, especially with, Andrew Lincoln leaving too. It's like, yeah, I personally don't think she'll be back. I kind of hope she would, but return as Maggie later, maybe at season 10 or 11 or something. But I just, right now I'm feeling like probably not. So yeah, man, probably not. Jordi says, I'd love to hear your opinion on other post-apocalyptic series or movies, Trev. So, yeah, I did a review for The Rain just recently there. I'll be reviewing Better Call Saul, Fear the Walking Dead as well, too. So it's not like we only do The Walking Dead in the channel here in Trev Chan 2, but it's just that, it's the series I feel most passionate about. It's something that I never have trouble, finding energy to talk about with you guys and enjoy talking about with you guys. So, yeah, with this season, it's a bit sad because just so much is changing with the series, and it's just like, damn, dude, it's like I guess it has to change in order to survive, in order to continue on, but it's like, damn, man, do we really have to change that much? And, who's still left out of those early season characters? There's not many, man. There really aren't many, especially since, if you think of Morgan has gone to Fear, so he's still alive, but he's not in the original series anymore. Man, the original series, by the time this mid-season finale rolls around, they're not going to have almost anybody from those first few seasons of the show. I mean, you've got Daryl, you've got Carol, Yeah, man. Let's wrap it up on that note. So that's my recap for the preview special tonight. That's really all it was, guys. If you didn't catch it, don't worry. That was basically it. You don't really have to watch it. There's a nutshell, a condensed version for you. And if you like this version or you like this video, don't forget to thumb it up below. You can also share, favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it, man. Help me out. Give me a sub. Bottom left a sub. So for this one, I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, this is Trev. And I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.